Hey guys,
Hey everybody.
we're back.
Hey,
We're back. Lynn's eating a steak.
I'm eating. Yes, I am I am late eating my lunch,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
excuse me for chewing while we're doing this, but I'm so hungry.
It's okay. The other night on the keto cookout, I ate some sardine fries, I call them. Basically, I
Wow.
make sardines in the air fryer, and they get really crispy. Like I overcook them. They get really, really crispy, and they're just so good, and they taste
Really?
yes, they're just so crispy, and like it totally changes the taste of them.
I might have
Wow.
to try that. How long do
Happy
you cook them?
yesterday.
Happy yesterday. Yes.
Hey,
How's it
Yes.
going?
Jeannie with two N's.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's see here. Where did we leave off? Let me look.
We're like midway through chapter 8.
Yeah, I'm on 222.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh, I was on 220. Did we already do 220? I don't think we did 220 yet.
I think we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I put my bookmark in the wrong place. So, okay.
Well, I think a couple times we went back. You know what I mean?
don't
Like we went back a little bit and read a part and then came back.
Well, I
to
know
the-
that it's talking about the walking 7,000 steps a day, working up to
Mhm.
10,000, what to do with your heart rate and lifting stuff. And helping your mitochondria. I don't remember talking about that, but that's just me.
I mean, I may have just skipped it because I didn't really see that much good info in there.
Last time we met was the day before I came down with the flu. So who
Yeah.
knows what was
So
going on
who
in my
knows what you were in some kind of fever dream.
I don't know what was going on, but yeah. So again, for those of you who just joined it, pardon my chewing. I am eating my lunch. I'm having an amazing ribeye.
Mm.
Mm.
It looked delicious too. She showed it to us.
Oh
Hey,
my
Mike
gosh.
Shaw, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
Good to see ya.
Mike. So, let's start with the good energy biomarkers and movement. So basically, I'm going to have to get my glasses on.
Step
All right.
one.
So it's funny, when I have my glasses on, I can see far away. I can see the book, but I can't see you guys. So I'm like always,
We're still here.
y'all are blurry. So, okay. So it says when you're striving to be part of the 6.8% of metabolically healthy Americans, did you all catch that? Yes, she did say 6.8% of metabolically healthy Americans. Yikes. Regular movement will help you get there. Research shows that exercise improves all 5 of the following basic biomarkers of metabolism. Glucose levels above 100, HDL cholesterol less than 40. So it says with exercise volume rather than intensity, having greater influence with that. Yeah, so it will raise your HDL.
Yeah,
The 2019 review of the literature showed that exercise increased HDL cholesterol. What'd you say, Lynn?
I found that the more because I didn't used to be able to exercise at all. And my HDL was always it was within normal range, but it was the very, very, very low. And I'm almost to an optimal range now.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, huzzah.
I'm off by 1 point.
My HDL is pretty good. It's actually quite good. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's on the higher end of, whatever normal is. I don't remember those numbers right now, but I just remember it was good. But I don't exercise. I just changed the way that I ate, and it got better. So
yeah.
Triglycerides above 150. And it effectively lowers triglyceride levels. Blood pressure of 130/85 or higher. Research shows, I can't talk today, y'all. research shows that the effects of exercise among populations with high blood pressure were similar to the effects of commonly used medications. A waistline of more than 35 inches for women and 40 inches for men. And of course, it helps decrease that.
It's going to be a while. My waistline hasn't been below 35 for decades.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm pretty certain mine's not below 35. I don't remember exactly what it is, but
Mine's not. When I was younger, like in high school and stuff, I think it was like 26 inches. But that is long gone. But it's been shrinking,
I mean, honestly, though, I feel like if our waistlines were the same as they were in high school, I mean, I think I would look funny. I don't know.
Well, you've had 4 kids.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, there's people who have had kids that are, skinny, but like with the rest of my body shape, I think me being too skinny didn't look right,
Well, there's different body types. You got your mesomorph, and they tend to be more muscular. And then you got the ectomorph, which is like the long and lean. And then you have the ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph, which they tend to put on a little more weight easier. So they're well, like the culture, calls them like, I don't know, they're just shapely. They're more shapely. They're womanly. And
I must be an endomorph.
So I actually think that I'm the middle one. What was that?
Mesomorph.
Yeah, because I am like naturally muscular. I always have been. And I was never overweight until probably my 30s. So,
being a cheerleader and all that, sports.
But I was always like, I was never lean. I mean, I was skinny, but I wasn't like, or I guess I was lean, but I wasn't like, I was never like super skinny, I guess. I just was always muscular and solid,
Yeah.
I was too. Yeah, I was too. Like I had friends who were the real like long, lean types, and they would, they would look the same as me, but I would weigh like 20 pounds heavier more than they did.
Yeah.
But yet we would basically like kind of look very, very close in size. So I was always very solid.
How old were you when you started gaining weight, Lynn?
20. It's the same time. I was almost 21. It was the same time I started developing the symptoms of PCOS.
Yeah. I'm like, it has to be like a hormonal thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like exactly the same time that I started having my cycles get messed up. Started having like 2 cycles a month, and then started having a lot of issues with bleeding and all of that. It all started exactly the same time.
What's really weird is like when I was in my like early to mid teens, well, throughout really, but I mean, I had a lot of, I think it was symptoms of PCOS looking back on it, because that time of the month was incredibly painful. And there was a lot of it. And my father used to we had one car at the time in our family, and my dad would have to go pick me up from school. I mean, it was like clockwork. And I don't know. I guess I'm just a weird body composition. I don't know, because I think I did have symptoms of that PCOS.
Not everybody gained weight with PCOS. I have a cousin who had PCOS as well. And she was more your body type. She never gained weight like I did.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like we've always talked about, like some people just don't have the genetic ability to gain all of that weight, and it is protective. Like Carrie will become diabetic on a skinnier frame than we will.
Right.
So, and that, like, they're finding that out, like in India and in the Orient, people of those body types, they don't look, quote unquote, look like they're metabolically unhealthy, but they are.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Okay,
Right.
Carrie, you want to go on to the next
Yeah.
the temperature section?
Okay. So she talks about temperature, meaning, she began talking about stress on the body, and like if you have too much stress on the body, that's not good. But at the same time, controlled stress sort of builds up your it'll cause you to adapt and lower chronic levels of oxidative stress. And so she's talks about cold, is it like cold plunging? And then she, like, get this, she says it's been gaining a cult following among biohackers despite the upward of $5,000 price tag for many of these specialized tubs. And the thing is, man, I can tell you, I could get in the shower and just turn it on cold, and
right.
that's
Yeah.
for the cost of my water. I'll be doing a dance in there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It's cold.
And I've heard too, and this makes sense, like that severe of a temperature change is not necessary to give your body the little bit of shock that it needs to kind of,
In fact,
experience
for
that.
some
Because
people,
our
it can be detrimental.
ancestors wouldn't be out in ice water like that. They would have better sense than to do that.
Well, some of them did, like the Nordic countries, like they would do they would sit and the Russians did too. So it was like the Norse, people like Scandinavia, but they would have these like hot houses that they would sit in, like a sauna basically, and they would just get like really, really hot. And then they would just go run out into the water. So they really did do that.
Like,
now,
how long ago are we talking?
Huh?
How long ago are we talking that they
We're
do
talking, well, I think they still do it. I used to follow this
that? Well,
guy.
I mean, I'm talking about like our ancestors.
Oh, well, yeah,
back.
going way back, but they've done it it's like a huge tradition in those cultures to do that.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
for
can't remember the term that they used. I followed a guy that was a Russian guy. And of course, it was before all the world events started happening, but he would talk about like Russian culture and stuff like that. I followed him on YouTube, and they still, every family, like especially ones that like live in the city, that if they have any kind of or had any kind of money at all, they also had these country homes. And at those country homes, they had those little buildings out back, the little sweat houses or whatever. And it was like a communal thing. And like the family, like the guys, it was kind of a guy thing. The women didn't do it so much, but the guys would do it. And they would go out and sit in that thing and sweat. And then they would go out and like roll around in the snow, or they jump in water if it was. I know, it's crazy. It sounds nuts to me. And the Nordic cultures do it too.
Adapt. Yeah, your body needs to adapt to that. I mean, and I know that especially if you've got, like me with MCAS or someone with autoimmune disease, it's just not recommended to just do a cold plunge.
Yeah.
No, you would have to do it. You would have to work up to that.
I don't think that it's really that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just think it's kind of a faddish thing. I think that the whole principle behind it being that our temperature in our houses is kept at a constant environment, and that's not healthy. Like, I totally get that. But I think that you can get that shock to your nervous system just by getting in a shower. I mean, my shower gets pretty darn cold,
You bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I tried to do the whole, like, take a shower and then just turn on the cold water for the end. And it triggered my MCAS and I got really dizzy.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And I know that Robin Heron, carnivorous grandma at Hack Your Health, she did a cold plunge and she's got an autoimmune disease and it just messed her up. Really messed her up.
And
So
another reason why I don't like the idea of it is because when your vessels dilate from the heat and then they constrict like quickly, like that's why they say don't go from the hot tub to the swimming pool. Like, there are actually people who have died from things like that, because if you have a clot in there, it can like break it loose, because like it's just super quick. Your vessels are dilating and then they're going, and that clot can just go up to your brain. And I just don't. I mean, I don't feel like I'm healthy enough to be doing something like that.
Well, don't your
Right,
muscles mess
exactly.
up like where you can't swim too? Like I think that's another reason why they advise against that is because it's something to do with your muscles. Your body might not work right,
I don't
and then
know,
you could
but
drown.
there are people who have died from things like,
Yeah.
from extreme
But
temperatures, like going from
right.
hot tubs to swimming pools.
But
I
I do
think if
think it's
people want to
a
do
good
it,
idea.
I think it's usually with alcohol though, because the
oh,
alcohol thins the blood even more, and I don't know. Anyway,
well, that's a good point. I mean,
but I don't think
might
that would
be
be a
alcohol
clot though. That would
involved.
be more like a bleed, but I don't know.
But we do need to get more adaptable. I do
Yeah.
agree with the point is that, he talks about our modern lives of thermoneutrality
Mhm.
makes for bored mitochondria.
I don't
So
want my mitochondria to be bored.
Yeah, they're
I
like
do not
sitting there
either.
playing, what is it, playing solitaire in there, they're just like
Right.
bored still. But
Yeah, so he says mitochondria are heat generating structures like furnaces, but if we don't stimulate them to do the work to generate heat and ATP, they won't do as much. So our mitochondria are so bored and abused that our species appears to be cooling. Body temperatures seem to have dropped by as much as 1.06 degrees Fahrenheit over the past 200 years, possibly because of a generally low metabolic rate. So I think it's good to become more adaptable,
Yeah. And I
but
mean, just not keep things at such a comfortable level all the time. Like you don't have to have
Right.
your house at 72 degrees year round, but I do.
Right.
Like I actually like it a little better when I have to put on a sweater, and I feel that little bit of, I don't like the artificial air, like this
Yeah.
artificially
Neither.
cooled and heated air. It's drying. It's just, in the summertime, it's too cold. Like, I just don't like it.
And I have refused to turn my heat on.
Oh,
It's
really?
pretty cold at night, and I just refused to do it. I was like, I'm not going to turn it on yet.
So
And
I agree. Sorry,
yes, me
Carrie.
too. I don't want to do that either.
I didn't sign up to do that.
But like when I was growing up, though, we did not have air conditioning. I mean, there was a box fan in the window. That's what we got.
We had a window unit air conditioner.
And it was a lot. So we were just accustomed to it. I mean, I'm not going to say that sometimes it didn't get miserable, because I mean, obviously if you're in 100-degree temperatures, you're going to be pretty miserable. But I am saying that we were more accustomed to it, and the car
you
didn't
get
have
used to it.
car didn't have an air conditioner. And I remember walking to school when it was cold. I mean, school was a couple blocks from my house, and we walked to school. Now, we obviously were dressed appropriately, but I mean, still, we were out in that cold, and we were feeling it, and we were out moving,
Yeah.
And it's just different now. I mean, kids that live 2 blocks from school are getting rides to school, and it's
Well,
just,
that's mainly because of the weirdos on the corner waiting to pick them up.
Maybe. Yeah.
but it is
It's
different.
different.
It's just
Different
different,
thread.
and we've just been accustomed to, things have just changed so much. And so the poor kids,
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Nelson.
Dr. Nelson.
Nelson. Always love to see you here.
Yep.
So, but I had major heat intolerance. And so I actually, over the summer, I did try to help myself by going outside when it was warm, which, warm where I live is not warm where you guys live. It's Washington State. So, but I could react to, even if it was like in the 70s and a clear day, or if it was in the 80s, it was definitely like I could react. And so I did work on it all summer, is to just kind of expose myself to warmer temperatures. And I feel like I got improvement. And then I do the same thing. That's over the past winter. I did the same thing. I'd go out and in the cold. And so I think that, to me, that's a really good approach. If you're just so sensitive, is just to do a little bit and just kind of test those boundaries little by little, and you'll adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ease into it. There's no sense in, like, who was that? my Apex Odyssey says she didn't sign up to do stuff that hurts, and there's no
I
sense in
agree.
torturing yourself. So just work up to,
Yeah.
and there's no need to just plunge yourself into a bucket of ice water. I ain't doing that.
Right.
I'll just tell you right now. I'm
No.
not going to do that.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Yeah.
So I think more important than the heat and cold and challenging our body like that is the next section, which is synthetic chemicals and environmental toxins. I think that this is affecting us a lot more than even the constant temperatures of our homes. It's literally everything that touches our skin can potentially absorb. And we've got, not only do we have all the creams and sprays and, makeup. I mean, I love stuff. I love my hair dye. I love stuff like that. But the more that we use, the higher our body's toxic burden is. And, it can just get really, really bad. It says there are over 80,000 synthetic chemicals that are in our environment, and about 1,500 new chemicals are released every year, many of which have not been tested for safety in adult children or fetuses. Artificial huh?
Yeah, and even with that, the stuff that's in our food is just terrible. If we just eliminated that,
Yes.
I mean, just all those chemicals that haven't been tested, and we're the guinea pigs.
Oh, Dr. Nelson, I can identify with this. This happens to me, and I've told these ladies about it multiple times. But Dr. Nelson said, I just gave a talk on reversing type 2 diabetes. Would you believe my blood sugar went up 35 points? Absolutely, I would believe it. One time I was trying to get 2 ribeye roasts from Kroger that were half price, and actually it was 3. And they only gave me one of them for half price, and they tried to ring the other ones up for full price. And I came home and looked at the time on my receipt. So I knew exactly when it was when I had that spike on my glucometer, and it went up like 30 points just because I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get my rib roast. So absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
There's of all those people.
Yeah, you're stressed. The stress and the absolutely.
Yes.
Jones says
stress will increase blood sugar fast. Absolutely.
Yeah, wow, definitely.
But then likewise, exercise, like especially after you eat and stuff, supposedly, well, I mean, I guess because she talked before in here about like if you take a walk after you eat and stuff, it actually reduces your blood sugar. So I guess you're walking.
Yeah, by taking your sugar out by using those big muscles and like basically pumping the sugar into those big muscles. Mm-hmm. But just the act of exercising in itself while you're exercising can increase it.
Yeah.
So my Apex Odyssey says walking around Walmart made my blood sugar spike about 30 points. I knew that place was stressing me out. Absolutely.
Oh man, I don't go in there. I go with my daughter once in a while, and that's it. I can't do it.
I kind of wonder what's going to happen with all these places, because like everybody I talk to, almost nobody is actually going to Walmart and going to the grocery store like they used to, like as much as they used to, as long as they used to. Most people are ordering stuff, either picking it up or getting a lot of stuff on Amazon. And I just wonder, like, what's the future going to look like with, I don't want to affect our ability to get things,
Every time I go in there, though, it's packed. So, I mean, somebody's going in here, but
yeah,
I just don't anymore. I'll go with my daughter sometimes if I happen to be with her running errands or something, but I don't.
Yeah.
I do not choose to go there. I have my, like, Publix is my grocery store, and sometimes Kroger and Aldi. I went to Aldi today.
I love Aldi
and stuff. Yeah. But for some reason, even though Aldi is popular, it's a smaller store and it doesn't stress me out like Walmart does.
Yeah.
It's still not like there's just so many people that you can't move. I don't know. Walmart is just a totally different environment.
Yes, it is.
And I can't do it. I'm old and grumpy.
So she does go on to say that talk about obesogens. So basically, these are chemicals that cause, well, it says, hold on. These chemicals are drivers of all three hallmarks of bad energy: oxidative stress, inflammation, and mitochondrial dysfunction. And the link is now so well defined that many of these chemicals are being classified as obesogens, meaning that they are known to impair metabolism in such a way that they causatively contribute to obesity and insulin resistance. So, examples of obesogens include household disinfectants and cleaners, fragrances and perfumes, air fresheners, makeups, lotions, shampoos, deodorants, body wash, household paint, the ink on receipts, which I have been trying to not get as many receipts lately because of that. Plastics.
I did look up though, when I read that, I was like, what? So I did actually look up like supplies and like register rolls that they put in, and there are options to get the non-toxic. And so you can, and I didn't see that it didn't look like there was a huge price difference. So I don't know if there's a way of finding out, like if your store uses the non-toxic register rolls or not, but there's a lot of non-toxic ones out there.
I don't know, but like I always ask for receipts because I have this receipt scanning app where I get points and then I get gift cards. So I always get the receipts. But now I'm like, oh, maybe it's not worth getting, but I don't know. But
plastic, ask whether or not they use the non-toxic ones.
I mean,
it'd be everywhere I go.
I don't have time for that. I will just not get them. Deodorants, body wash, household paint, ink on receipts, plastics, vinyl flooring, food preservatives and colorings, many pharmaceutical drugs, clothing, furniture, children's toys, electronics, flame retardants, industrial solvents, car exhaust, and the pesticides that cover our food. So one place I'm starting is, the receipts might be a little portion of it, but a biggie for me is the food. So I'm trying to make sure I've been shopping at Whole Foods lately. Not that you have to shop at Whole Foods to get organic food. You can get it anywhere. But I've been shopping there and trying to get like all organic stuff for my household. And I've kind of transitioned us over to where, I'd say probably 80%, 75% of the stuff in my house now, food wise, is all organic.
That's good.
So
I watched something interesting this past week, and there's a I forget the name of the lady, but she's a blogger, and she's going after the food companies because there's like this grassroots movement, and she's in charge of it. And there was a big thing that she organized. I think it was about a week ago, where they went to Kellogg's headquarters because
I saw that video.
Did you see that?
Is she the one that was on that panel that they did a while back?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
think her name is Shawnee something, but Bonnie. But she had gone to, I think, some other food companies. The Food Babe. That's right.
Yeah.
Nanny Hart, the Food Babe. Yeah. But she went to Kellogg's with a group because, they make different product for different countries. Like they don't have all of the artificial stuff and the food dyes. Kellogg would not talk to her. They wouldn't, like, their security guard came out. They wouldn't talk to her. And there was a whole group. There was like children there saying, stop poisoning us, and they had signs and everything. And then, the C-suite of the building.
Did you see the lady in the window? It was one of the CEOs, and she was smiling really big. I was like,
they put a sign in the window, the C-suite, the floor, they put a sign in the window that said, "Get off my grass." And she said that,
that's kind of funny, but
oh my gosh. But she said this was the only food company that actually wouldn't talk to her and wouldn't work with her. So she's telling everybody to boycott Kellogg's. Of course, I don't buy anything from Kellogg's, being carnivore, but
I saw the video and I was like, I was going to do a reply video, but I couldn't reply to the one that I saw. It was a TikTok. It just didn't have its reply things on. But I was going to do like stitch it or we'll do edit or whatever and say, if you guys think this is bad, like if y'all are out here boycotting Kellogg's for the food dye, just go back and Google why cornflakes were made.
Yeah.
And it's these same people, these same weirdos that want to push their religious views on everybody and their view that people should not be,
they just make everybody androgynous. Basically, you're just androgynous and you have no desire. You have no.
And they also had a lot to do with like circumcision stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the endocrine disruptors in these foods that the food companies have no problem feeding to our people in this country, but then they do, they ship it off to other countries that have it banned. So it's really infuriating. It's a good start. I mean, I realize that, getting rid of the ultra processed foods altogether would be better. But at least if they're not going to do that, a step in the right direction is to get rid of all of the endocrine disrupting.
Doesn't it tell you?
If they could just make a requirement that, I mean, there are processed foods out there that I would eat. There are processed foods out there that have good, clean ingredients in them. Okay. Processed food doesn't necessarily mean bad.
Right.
But if they would just put good, clean, natural ingredients and not a bunch of friggin' food dyes and stuff like that.
For children who are metabolically unhealthy, like, don't bombard their system with all of these.
I mean, they wouldn't be metabolically unhealthy if it wasn't for these companies.
Right. Well, our bodies would probably function a lot better.
Yeah, and it's like the ingredients didn't always used to be that bad that was in those foods either. I mean, there used to be natural fats in there.
Yeah.
We
read about that, They basically changed them from using good fats, good natural fats, to this garbage that's killing people, all these seed oils.
And it's the same as fast food, really, because, like, for example, I used to love McDonald's fries. I did. I loved them. And I wouldn't have a problem with, on a rare occasion, having some McDonald's fries if they weren't cooked in seed oils, but if they were cooked in the beef tallow like they used to be.
Yeah, I don't want to have a repercussion of something staying in my body for 2 years just because I
don't eat them because of what they're cooked in, but they used to be fabulous. And I think that, of course, we've talked about this before, but that's a big contributor to the metabolic issues is those seed oils have the proteins and stuff in it that, that the good fats are made for us, whereas those are not. And so we're basically making our cells and everything out of synthetic fat.
Well, and I was listening to this guy on Sean Baker's channel the other day, and he was talking about seed oils, and he's actually a carnivore, but like he doesn't think all seed oils are bad. And basically what he said was the way that they are processing these seed oils are what makes them bad. And that there are some that are like organic, like if you get organic seed oils, and I guess they're cold pressed and I don't know, panda massage, whatever they are. They're not killers like these are, like the ones, like the garbage that McDonald's is using basically. But I don't know, you guys might want to watch it. It was really good. And this guy's like, he seemed to know what he was talking about. I mean, I don't know for sure, but he's actually an engineer. And I believe Sean had him on his channel because he thinks some of what he's saying is right. And I've always tried to make the connection too between, like, I know that there are people who eat organic seed oils and they don't have inflammation. Their health's great. Just like mine was getting better. Like, I know there's more than one way to skin a cat, put it that way. Just because I have chosen carnivore and I have chosen to do things this way doesn't necessarily mean it's the only right way. Okay.
Right.
But like, I've always looked for the commonalities, or like, what is it about the way they're doing things that still makes that healthy? You know, I know there can be healthy vegetarians that eat eggs and things like that. And some do eat seed oils, but a lot of the ones that are really healthy, they do eat the organic everything.
Yeah, I
So,
think the vegetarians who are, and vegans for that matter, who are like serious about it, they generally don't eat processed stuff and they eat high quality ingredients overall. I mean, they're not typically the so-called Oreo vegetarians,
yeah,
oh, it's not meat, so therefore I can eat it. I mean, they really are careful about what they eat. So there
yeah.
are some common grounds, I think, between all of us.
So he thinks omega-6 are essential as long as they're unadulterated. Yeah, so he was calling them parent seed oils or something like
You
that.
know what? I saw that.
It was very
did like that.
interesting, and it's just, something to look into, because I don't like to be rigid in my thinking, and I don't think that carnivore is like everything. It's not my goal to be a carnivore forever. I like
I'm
to
probably
see,
gonna have to.
I
I'm probably
like to
gonna
know
have
the
to.
truth. I like to know, like, no matter if it agrees with my thinking and my little worldview, what are the other truths out there?
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to be carnivore my whole life, I'm assuming, because of my health condition. But I'm okay with that because I feel so much better. But
have
some
you
people
ever
do.
just tried eating organic food, like all organic, like nothing that's not organic?
Before I was carnivore,
Mhm.
that's what I did. Everything I bought was organic.
You even
And
made your own bread, didn't you? Like you
I
sprouted
even made
it
my
and
own.
all that?
Well,
Yeah,
but
I
you were
made my
eating
own bread.
grains, like
It was grains. I made my own yogurt,
so my thought was like all organic, no grains, no sugar, no dairy.
Yeah. I did no grains when I was keto, and but I was too addictive to any carbs. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, and then the carnivore Catherine says
Like
potatoes are
lettuce
high
and stuff, or what carbs were you addicted to? I mean, that weren't grains.
I just didn't. I just wanted to do the more carby type meals rather than like I didn't just eat meat. I was making all these keto treats, and maybe it was the sugar.
Yeah.
It might have been that I never quite got past the sweetness of the sugar substitutes, and like I wanted to do all these little mug cakes and I did the sweet fat bombs and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think no matter what, I'll have to stay away from sugar, and I need to get away from artificial sweeteners because I've always kept those.
Yeah.
And I think they're really detrimental to my gut health.
Yeah. But I think part of this is this part about the synthetics is to really see it's not just food.
Yeah.
All these things that you read off that she listed, so many of them are not foods. And so it's you have to be careful because there's things that are in your environment and in the products that you use that are considered obesogens. And so it can be interrupting your cellular processes and your functioning.
Yeah, especially when we have the generally recognized as safe label that we know we can all trust, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a designation.
Says who?
Okay.
Yeah. It says it's a designation given by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, but I know we've read, here it also says companies are able to self-determine their GRAS status via their own review of scientific literature, and the program is entirely voluntary, meaning that a company does not even need to get the FDA's approval if the company determines that the chemical in question is generally recognized as safe. Talk about a conflict of interest.
Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, the companies get to decide whether or not their product is safe on a voluntary basis. So there's no accountability at all.
No.
Yeah. So
And I just
generally,
think it's logical that if these are things that we have not eaten, I mean, these are new, brand new chemicals. There's no way that our bodies were meant to, or are able at this point so quickly to process these and for these things to not have an effect on us. And I just think all of this stuff together is like the perfect storm, and it's just all gathered together to just, make a mess of us.
And they love to say, oh, everything's chemicals. Everything has a chemical makeup, and they like to, they being particularly, there are like some pharmacists and stuff one that I went to school with, and she likes to post on Facebook like, oh, do you know that everything is made of chemicals? And, what do you not like H2O and like things like that? Like she likes to really push that, oh, there's chemicals and everything. And I used to kind of buy into that. And I'm like, no, but that you clearly know that's not what we're talking about.
A naturally occurring molecule, I think we can all agree, is just different. No, so I learned something again, and also this week that was interesting. And this applies to clinical trials, which I know that we have gone over in all the books we've read, so many of these clinical trials and all of the stuff behind them that is not good, right? Mm-hmm. Poorly done. I learned that, the peer review process.
Uh-huh.
And you think that, okay, it's been peer reviewed. Peer reviewers are not provided with the source data for the clinical trial reports.
What?
Their report, they get the report and then they look over it. They are not provided with the actual trial source data.
Well, then how in the world can they review it? I mean, a good review, a thorough review.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't hear that, but I have heard that sometimes it's kind of like the buddy system, like, oh yeah, hey Lynn, will you peer review my, I don't know if they ask each other, but
that would be part of it too, because
that happens.
Yeah.
I agree, because how else would a peer reviewer be okay with not having the source data? Unless there's some sort of a, okay, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of situation. Because if you're a really good, really wanting to do a good peer review of a clinical trial, you're going to want to see the raw data from the trial.
Well, and as somebody who does quality assurance for a living too, I would definitely need to have everything so that I could review it properly. Because if I'm going to put my name on it and sign off on it and say that this meets quality assurance expectations and guidelines, you better believe I'm going to have all the information and check everything. I mean, just to be like, kind of glance at it and, oh, okay, well, I know since this person did it, I have some great teammates at work and their work is excellent the vast majority of the time, but we have quality assurance for a reason to go through it and make sure that it's right. So, but you can't operate on that assumption like, oh, I know Kim. Right. And, she's my bud and I know she's not going to fudge anything. So I'm just going to sign off on it.
Yeah. And all of medicine is based on, evidence-based, right? So, and the peer review, the double-blind, randomized, controlled, double-blind, peer-reviewed study is supposed to be the gold standard, especially if there's like a meta-analysis done on a bunch of them. But what if doctors knew that the peer review was that much garbage, that they didn't get, nobody even looked at the raw data? I mean, doctors would have to go, wait a minute, like they'd have to reevaluate everything that they know, that they know.
Well, and Yeah. And they don't know that they don't know it too, because
Well, and
they
you can see
believe
what
what they're
works.
being given. They believe what they're being told because it's from these esteemed organizations or whatever. And so,
And it's not that everything is bad, because I mean, we know in clinical practice what medications do work.
yeah,
It's not like they don't work. They do, but there's so much out there that I think that it just kind of needs to be revisited. Like, is this really true or is it not? I think especially when it comes to nutrition, because it's all based on just an agenda.
well, and here's
Like
the
Kim
thing.
was
So,
saying,
like,
a religious agenda.
like people talk about how doctors don't ever mention nutrition, in a consult or whatever when they're talking to you about a solution. But of course, A, we've already heard that they don't get that much education about it. And B, it wouldn't matter anyway, because at this point, the way it is, the education that they would get would be the standard, you know,
Yeah.
healthy whole grains, fruits and vegetables, you know, no fatty red meat. So, I mean, the advice that they would
Right.
give would just be,
Lean meat.
yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
So it wouldn't
Limit the
be,
number of eggs you eat. And yeah, absolutely. So, well, that's
Okay.
why we
So,
need more
yeah.
carnivore doctors out there.
so it goes through, let's see here. It says
Ooh,
the following list describes 9 classes of chemicals in the environment that are known to hurt human health directly through metabolic mechanism. And I think a lot of this in the keto and carnivore space are aware of a lot of these just because, well, Dr. Berry, for one, talks about them a lot, but a lot of us are more aware of, the things in our environment, things to avoid, and not eating out of plastic and things like that. But
Right.
the first
Mhm.
one is bisphenol A, or BPA,
Mhm.
commonly found in plastics, such as plastic water bottles, food containers like cans, and thermal receipts. BPA is a known hormone disruptor that accumulates and sticks around in fatty tissue. It says, of note, studies have found that a thermal receipt, like the type that you might get at a grocery store, can contain 250 to 1,000 times more than a can of food. Wow.
I didn't know that
It
until,
increases, I didn't either. It increases the risk of obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, male and female infertility, and chronic inflammation. Studies have suggested that BPA reduces antioxidant capacity, increases oxidative stress, impairs mitochondrial dynamics. Y'all want to each read one and like take turns?
Sure.
okay. How do we pronounce this next one?
Phthalates.
Phthalates. The P is silent, so I guess it's phthalates. Okay, phthalates, commonly found in cosmetics, fragrances, nail polish, lotion, deodorant, hairspray, gel, shampoos, toys, plastics, and artificial leather. Phthalates are hormone disruptors that are significantly related to insulin resistance, high blood pressure, earlier menopause, pregnancy loss, birth complications, genital development and semen quality, early puberty, asthma, developmental delay, and social impairment. Phthalates induce mitochondrial toxicity and increase oxidative stress in a dose-dependent manner, meaning that the more exposure, the worse the effects.
Wow.
Interesting social impairment. So I wonder, that's interesting. There's so many people who seem to be very socially awkward nowadays. Part of it's the
There's a
internet, I'm
lot of
assuming.
autism too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Asperger's and interesting. Okay, so 3 is parabens, commonly found as preservatives in moisturizers, shampoos, makeup, deodorant, shaving cream, foods, beverages, and pharmaceuticals. Parabens are absorbed through the skin and oral ingestion and have been shown to be present in several body fluids and human tissues like blood, breast milk, semen, placental tissue, and breast cells. They're problematic in how they bind to hormone receptors like those of our sex hormones, so estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and stress hormones, thereby altering hormonal activity and impact the metabolism of hormones. So hormones dictate all aspects of our biology, like neuronal development, immune function, thyroid function, metabolism, fetal development, and reproduction. Parabens directly bind hormone receptors and impart functional changes to the delicate balance of hormones regulating our lives and feelings. Parabens have been associated with DNA damage in sperm death, and infertility. Unfortunately, current wastewater treatment technology does not effectively remove parabens.
Did you hear
Wow.
that last part?
That is wild.
Directly bind hormone receptors and impart functional changes to the delicate balance of hormones regulating our lives and feelings. Think about
damage with DNA.
Yeah.
That's scary.
And therefore, like all of the people who are depressed, anxious, or feelings, or they overreact to things, like they might have the road rage or slam thing. You know what I mean? It's that I can see how
And
that
to
would
think
relate.
that, like, most shampoos contain paraben.
Right. And this is one
Like, we're rubbing this on our head every day or every other day, or
this is one of a whole bunch of handful of these toxins that we're exposed to. It's interesting though. I don't know about you guys, but ever since I've been carnivore, I don't have to wear deodorant anymore. Like, I don't have body odor. So
yeah, I don't wear, I mean, I put it on, but I know that I don't, like,
I still wear it
throughout the day. It's not like in the past where you would kind of smell yourself if you got hot.
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't wear any all summer. I was fine. And I asked my husband, do I stink?
Yeah.
No,
I think it's because a lot of the smell that comes out are the spices that people use. Think about different cultures. Like, their skin actually smells different from the spices that they use.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like when I use a lot of garlic, I definitely feel like I reek after that.
Oh man, my husband used to eat so much raw garlic. This was a long time ago. Like, we were in our 20s, and I remember I went to a work event for him, and his boss loved her. She was so great, but she goes, "Could you ask him to stop eating so much garlic? Because every time he walks into the office, the whole place smells like garlic." It was
warning off the vampires.
Oh my God, that's great.
That's right. No vampires in here.
That's great. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4 is triclosan. I've never heard of this one. So, commonly used as an antimicrobial agent in personal care products such as toothpaste and hand sanitizer. Triclosan is absorbed into the body through skin and mouth tissues. It has been linked to hormone disruption, immune system impairment, thyroid problems, and antibiotic resistance, mostly in animal studies. Triclosan has been found in human body fluids, with peer-reviewed research suggesting that humans are unequivocally exposed to significant and potentially unsafe levels. Triclosan causes universal disruption of mitochondria. Hold on, guys. Let me get my microphone on the other side.
How and nurses, we are, every time we go into a patient room, we got to do hand sanitizer going in and coming back out, day in, day out, all the time. Like, so much hand sanitizer.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that stuff. Triclosan causes universal disruption of mitochondria as a mitochondrial uncoupler, leading to changes in mitochondrial shape to a dysfunctional donut shape. Inhibition of the electron transport chain, mitochondrial splitting or fission, prevention of mitochondria from moving around the cell effectively, and reduction of proper calcium levels in mitochondria, which are required for function. Overall, triclosan's multifarious impacts on the mitochondria negatively impact ATP production and increase oxidative stress.
It's interesting that these things can actually change the shape of the mitochondria.
That's disturbing when you really, like, go past, like, I know, like, you read and kind of comprehend the words, but then when you really think about the meaning of the words, it's like,
right,
this is scary.
It's kind of like sickle cell disease, right? Their red blood cells can change their shape, but you don't think about things doing the same thing to your mitochondria. That can happen to all of us from
So
these exposures.
I just Googled, like, what is triclosan? It says antibacterial soaps, body washes, toothpaste, mouthwash, facial cleansers, deodorants, lotions, creams, cosmetics and aftershave, detergents, dishwashing liquids, household cleaning products and paints, cutting boards, clothing, plastics, furniture, toys, carpets, adhesives, fabrics, textiles, and mattresses, conveyor belts, ice making equipment, and HVAC coils. So,
It's everywhere. Wow.
Okay, so is it banned now? My
Yeah, you want to pull up that? You want to pull up that comment?
Wow.
It was banned in the U.S. for that use in 2016.
So it could still be in other stuff, just not necessarily
the FDA. Let's see. In what year was it?
2016.
This says it was banned the sale of consumer products containing I'm sorry, the FDA banned the sale of consumer products containing triclosan in 2016. That's so why she still got it in her book then.
I know. I'm just
well, maybe it's because she may have, and hopefully has an international audience. I'm wondering if it's banned everywhere.
Well, good grief, if it's banned here, it must be banned everywhere else because we're usually lax on everything.
We're just like, whatever.
I mean, they give us the doo-doo stuff. You know, it's like the dregs.
Well, that's good that it's banned then.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could still be, maybe she listed it because it could still be in a lot of things that have been around for, before
things you
2016.
purchased, before 2016. So if you've got any old hand sanitizer or antibacterial stuff that you haven't used and it's been sitting there, throw it away.
Because in some of my organization groups that I'm in, there are people that they stockpile stuff. Like they buy tons of stuff and so the person who runs that group, she says, go through that, and get rid of the old stuff because of the ingredients, and not only that, they don't age well anyway. So if you've got an older product, plus it's got some of that stuff in it, that could be even worse for you.
Yeah.
So go through your stuff.
Go through your stuff, guys. Lynn Tucker Carnivore's here. She said, wow, I just tuned in. Holy moly, forget plants. Products of all kinds are trying to kill us.
Everything's trying to kill us.
I agree. I've told you I've tried to switch my whole house over to organic stuff, mainly that we're consuming in our body. But I think my next step is going to be I need to carefully consider how important it is for me to be a redhead, and are there other natural options I might want to consider for dyeing my hair? Look at my products. Look at my detergents and things like that. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't know where I'm going to draw the line, but
I use all Melaleuca products for everything that comes in contact with them. So the hair products, skin products, laundry detergents, cleaning products, everything, any product that I use in my household, I order it through Melaleuca because it's all clean.
I've never heard of Melaleuca.
I haven't either.
It's a kind of a membership based. They've been around for a long, long time. And it's kind of a membership based, you pay an annual membership and then you buy stuff through them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of one of you have to have a minimum order each month. So I share my membership with my daughter. And so between the two of us, we order enough to where we're fine. But I get my any vitamins that I may use, I get my a vitamin D that I use and some other stuff that you can order all that. They've got all the vitamins, essential oils and stuff. Yeah. It's good quality, but I changed everything in my household over to that. And
I'm in the process of switching everything like on my I don't take a lot of vitamins and supplements and stuff, but like occasional stuff that I might use, I'm in the process of switching it all over to like organic everything basically. But it's so
Yeah.
hard because, you have this stuff that you've spent good money on, and you don't want to just like throw it all out and waste all that money, but
Well, thanks
well, I
to
guess
my
if it's
friend Rachel.
poisoning you,
Thanks to
would
my
you say,
friend
Kim?
Rachel, she makes soap. She makes tallow soap
Yeah.
and gives it to me. She does it as a hobby. So for over a year now, that's all I've used on my face and body, and I have really noticed a difference. So that's one good thing. I told her she needs to make shampoo. Somehow I've come up with a good clean
Yeah.
thing, and I told her, I said I'll use it. So that's one thing. So in addition to the food and that's two.
I I have tried organic shampoos that were like shampoo bars and stuff like that. It's a no for me.
me
I
too.
feel like, and I
Like,
know it's
it
probably
made
just
my hair
me,
like just hard feeling and just like tangled and
and
just
it
awful.
doesn't feel like it. I've used some stuff in the past. My daughter got me something a while back, and it just, well, she had gotten me this toothpaste that I tried, and it was like, it was not good.
Yeah.
And then there was a shampoo, and it, like what you were saying, it doesn't feel like it. Well, it doesn't really lather, so
Yeah.
you don't feel like it's
Right.
really doing anything to get the stuff out of your hair or to clean it. And
Yeah.
it just felt stiff, and it wasn't like my hair just wasn't soft. And my hair is like kind of, I have a lot of hair, but it's very fine. And so if it's not, I don't know, it can look greasy really easily, and I don't need any help in that area for it to look
Yeah,
like
mine's
that.
that way too.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did find some good toothpaste though at Whole Foods that was I don't know if it was organic, but it was
Is it
what
the
you call it? Fluoride.
Tom's brand?
No, it was
No.
fluoride free. It's the 365 and it has a good consistency. Like
Mhm.
a lot of those toothpastes that I've tried, the natural ones, they just like it was like really super hard to squeeze out, or it just didn't want to even
Mhm.
stick to my like it just felt like it just fell off the toothbrush. It was just
Yeah.
really weird consistency. But this is actually like a resembles, like what Crest or Colgate or something would resemble when it came out of
Yeah.
the package.
That's my toothpaste too that I get through Melaleuca, and I do order the fluoride-free
Yeah,
toothpaste, and it's got a really good consistency too.
that's
So
important, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's next? Dioxins.
Okay. I think that's me. Dioxins, a group of highly toxic, and boy, that's in quotes. So a group of highly toxic compounds that are byproducts of industrial processes like bleaching paper pulp and making pesticides. Sounds lovely. And burning trash, coal, oil, and wood. These persistent organic pollutants, or POPs, don't readily degrade and persist in our environment while accumulating in animal fat. According to the World Health
which we're eating.
Organization, more than 90% of human exposure is through fatty animal foods like fish, dairy, and meat.
So
Through
we're getting
animal,
exposed to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
She says through animal and human research, dioxins are known to cause developmental and reproductive problems, skeletal deformity, kidney defects, reduced sperm count, increased rate of miscarriages, immune system disorders, lung cancer, lymphoma, stomach cancer, and sarcomas. Dioxins may impact human health by generating mitochondrial stress signaling, which activates the NF something K beta pathway or something. I don't know what that is, and can induce chronic inflammation and disturb microbiome activity. But I want to go back to what she said. Okay, byproducts of industrial processes like bleaching paper pulp and making pesticides.
Yeah, I'm
And
wondering
burning.
if the grass-fed, grass-finished would not be would not have the same dioxins in their fat, since they're not eating stuff has pesticides all over it.
Well, they definitely would have less of it, I would imagine. It sounds like some of these things are in the air, possibly, and the byproduct of burning. So I don't know if it
Well,
gets into the water and in the air. I don't know.
I can see that the bleaching, like the industrial processes, would cause, and the pesticides, obviously, the oil and the wood, the coal, oil and wood, because burning trash, obviously, if you're burning trash, there's all kinds of like types of items in there. There could be plastics, there could be things made of different materials, and so, I mean, burning wood, I'm just not.
Apparently, forest fires can also create dioxins. They can be found in the food, in the environment, food chains, in the air, water, and soil. So it says people are primarily exposed to dioxins through food, especially animal products like meat, fish, and dairy. So it may be that the food that we're eating, even the food we eat, is not immune from being exposed to these things.
So
If it's
when I Googled it, it says grass-fed meat appears to have, it says higher qualities of many vitamins, and then it says, and will likely have lower amounts of pesticides like glyphosates, atrazine, dioxins, and mold toxins.
Yeah. So it's better.
Better.
Yeah, it's better. We'll have less exposure. I don't know that we'll have no exposure, but we'll have less exposure. And it's not like our bodies can't process toxins. I mean, if we have a healthy liver and healthy filtration system for our kidneys, I mean, we can process. It's just the toxic overload that
I think piling all of it together, like if you have all of these different things. But
exactly.
I guess a ding, ding, ding warning went off, talking about found through fatty animal foods like fish, dairy, and meat. I could just see a vegan influencer putting stuff like that out, to.
But it's also everywhere. It's
how unhealthy animal foods are. So it's like.
But it's in the soil, right? And it's in the soil. It's in the air. It's in the water. Yeah. So their veggies are getting exposed to it as well. So I don't know. Maybe not as much.
Yeah.
Okay. So next one is polychlorinated bisphenols, or PCBs. So fortunately, PCBs have been banned. Good. Yay. Okay. So, however, these slowly degrading chemicals are still ubiquitous environmental contaminants found in air, water, soil, and fish worldwide, and through interactions with PCB-containing products or equipment made before 1977. I wonder if that includes homes. Considered dioxin-like, PCBs were widely used in making hydraulic and lubricating fluids, flame retardants, plasticizers, paint, adhesives, mentioned lubricating fluids twice there, and other industrial products. Like many synthetic chemicals, they bioaccumulate and biomagnify as they move up the food chain. Meaning that if you eat a food like a bottom-feeding fish that may regularly dine on PCB-laden sediment or other PCB-containing fish, the level of PCBs in the fish could be as much as 1 million times higher than the water it lives in. In cell culture studies, PCBs are toxic to neurons due to impairment of the mitochondrial electron transport chain, impairment of the initial breakdown of glucose in the cell, a process called glycolysis, and ultimately reduction in ATP production. So hopefully there's not a whole lot of equipment and a lot of this stuff that's left over from pre-1977. So hopefully that's going to be, not a whole lot of exposure there.
Okay, so number 7 is, oh, geez, Louise. PFAs. We're going to call it PFAs.
There we
I can't even
go.
pronounce this word.
Or fluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances.
Commonly found in nonstick cookware, grease-proof coatings for
Oh.
paper, and cardboard food packaging like microwave popcorn bags, fast food wrappers, and takeout containers, firefighting foams, and coatings for carpets and fabrics. These are often referred to as forever chemicals because they do not readily decompose or get excreted from the human body. A key source of PFAS in the environment is drinking water. Research has shown that PFAS possibly increase the risk of cancers of the liver, breast, pancreas, and testicles in animals, and cancers of the testicles, kidneys, thyroid, prostate, bladder, breast, and ovaries in humans, although some data conflicts. When PFAS accumulate in the tissues of the body, they damage mitochondria, which contribute to the recruitment of immune cells and the development of chronic inflammation. They also generate oxidative stress by both creating more free radicals and impairing the activity of antioxidants.
So, since they're considered forever chemicals and you can't really get rid of them very easily, I wonder if they will be pulled out by charcoal or some other binders, if that can help. Like, she didn't talk about anything like, you can possibly get rid of these, or are you stuck with them forever?
I don't know.
Okay, we have a good comment from Mike. A little bit of humor break. I have a personality is toxic, so that's an issue.
Yeah, you need a
Leave it to
detox there.
Mike provides the humor for our show.
Yes,
You're
he
welcome.
does.
And all
I
this
love it. I love it.
all this distressing news we're reading here.
I know.
You're
It's
right.
like, I
Gosh,
mean, really,
it's
it can
depressing.
sound hopeless. I mean, it's like, ugh. Okay,
Yeah.
then we have organophosphate pesticides. Okay, this sounds fun. 5.6 billion pounds of pesticides are used each year globally, despite being strongly linked to oxidative stress, cancer, respiratory problems, neurotoxic effects, metabolic problems, and adverse child development. These pesticides cover our food and enter the water system, with the USDA estimating that the drinking water of 50 million people is contaminated with pesticides and agricultural chemicals. This not only hurts consumers, but especially discriminates against farmers and children. Acute pesticide poisoning, APP, is estimated to affect 44% of farmers every year, for a total of 385 million cases per year worldwide and approximately 20,000 deaths. Children are uniquely at risk from pesticides because of pesticides' impact on their tiny bodies during critical developmental windows, and they can be exposed through the air, food, water, pets, and touch by playing on carpet, upholstered objects, lawns, grass in parks, and eating conventional and processed food. 45% of all reports of pesticide poisoning to poison control centers involve children. Studies have suggested that organophosphate exposure may affect mitochondrial function by inducing oxidative stress and impairing mitochondrial respiration. Do not use pesticides like Roundup on your lawn, and avoid conventionally grown foods. As with many chemicals, the liver primarily metabolizes pesticides before they are excreted in feces or urine. Protecting liver, gut, and kidney function is paramount to the effective elimination of many toxic synthetic chemicals, which good energy habits can help.
So you're not safe anywhere. Don't leave your house. Don't stay in your house because there's chemicals everywhere.
I wanted to share my screen for a minute here, because I know we've talked about this before, and she mentioned it in the book. This EWG tap water database, and this is actually as of 2021, but it's ewg.org, and you can search by zip code. So this is my water district, the Silver Lake Water and Sewer District. 8 contaminants detected that exceed the health guidelines. So 15 total, but 8. And it'll break it down for you and show you all the chemicals and how much more they exceed the guidelines. So these are all the ones that I'm getting exposed to. I don't know. This is 554 times this haloacetic acids, a potential effect cancer. This one is also potential effect cancer. Yeah. So anyways, if you guys are interested in checking out your local water, you can go to this website and look it up and see. And this is probably a good reason to get like a reverse osmosis or get a really good filter, really good system. So,
Yeah.
So. Okay. All right. Last one is heavy metals. So commonly found in contaminated soil, water, and food. Heavy metals like mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and lead are naturally occurring substances that can be toxic when concentrated at high levels through manufacturing and industrial processes. Excess heavy metals can cause various health problems, including neurological damage, developmental delays, cancer, and other health issues. Research has shown that metals can both increase oxidative stress and lead to mitochondrial dysfunction. But you can get metals out of your system. So there are heavy medical, the heavy metal detox.
You can be tested for these things, I was tested for all that stuff, and I didn't have any dangerous amount of heavy metal in my system.
That's good. So so those are the 9 things that she brought up. Let's see. So she mentioned this quote, according to this Drew Purohit had said, either you have a filter or you become the filter. So hopefully we're good at filtering things out.
I feel like I need to get a filter.
I do too. Some of them, but some of them can be expensive. Absolutely. So let's see. Booby Goats has well water. Yeah. Well, you got to get the well water tested too, right? So
well, here's the thing. Like, I don't drink water that comes from my tap. Like, I either buy seltzer water or just get, other, bottled water, which I guess it comes in a plastic container. So there you go. But I mean, lesser of two evils, I suppose. But I don't know. I want to get a water filtration thing, but man, like you said, they are expensive, and I just don't.
It's a large initial investment to get.
And I don't like. I'm not so worried about like the water that I bathe in so much as I am what I actually consume. And since I don't drink water from my tap, I just wonder if mostly I drink filtered water.
You just take showers, but I take showers to get clean, but I take baths to relax. And so like for me, I'm soaking in it.
Yeah.
So I think it's more concerning if you're submerged in it for a long period of time. And man, if I get reading something, I could be like in there for 2 hours.
I mean, we drink city water from our refrigerator. It's filtered, but it's not filtered like a Berkey.
And I do have one of those little pitchers that has, what is it, the Brita, I think, pitcher that has the
I think the Berkeys are supposed to be the best if you don't have like a reverse osmosis system. I think the Berkeys are supposed to be the best, but they're like quite an investment to buy one.
I think isn't that reverse osmosis the Berkey?
I don't know. It has a lot of filters. It's supposed to be really good. I've had water out of Berkey. My husband's cousin, they have a Berkey, and it's very clean tasting. So yeah, but I used to drink tap water all the time here. Like when we moved up to Washington in 2013, I thought I would like hit the gold mine when it came to tap water, because the tap water is like glacier water and it tastes amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it had all this stuff in it, but where I grew up, in fact, my husband always he still brings it up. Like when he first came down to California and was, visiting with my parents' house and stuff. And she'd pour us a glass of water, like, and put some ice cubes in it. And there'd be these like crystalline things floating in the water. And it would be like, and even if they're like all the ice had melted, these things do not dissolve. And I grew up on drinking that water. Now I have no clue what it was.
You
But
don't
this
know what
stuff
it was.
I have no idea. My mom always said, "Oh, it's just the ice." But I'm like, ice is not supposed to do that.
It doesn't stay there forever.
Wow.
Yeah, like if it's little like chips off of the ice, it would dissolve quicker than the regular ice cube, right? But no, these things hung out for the whole time the water's in your glass and you drink them. And I grew up drinking that water.
The things you say when you don't want kids to ask questions, right?
Oh my God. My parents were completely ignorant about anything environmental that was not good for you. I mean, like I said, I'm the one who grew up on margarine and Crisco and Velveeta cheese and,
Okay, so evidently Berkey is not reverse osmosis. I don't know what I was thinking.
But it's good.
But it's like a really good filter.
Yeah,
and actually, I think some say that it's better than reverse osmosis because it doesn't filter out like a lot of the minerals and stuff. I don't know. That's just what I'm reading.
Yeah, I think it's the gold standard pretty much for water.
Reverse osmosis, you're going to have to add minerals back to that water, or or just not have minerals.
So Berkey's the better one then.
Yeah, it has a charcoal filter. That's what Booby Goat says.
Yeah, and it has quite a few filters. It's not just like one, so it's yeah. So okay. All right. Did we need to go over the last summary thing?
I don't know. I think we're already at an hour and a half, and
I think we're good. It just summarizes. It just summarizes everything we already went over. All right, so on to chapter 9 for next week. This was an interesting one.
Are we almost done with the book?
This is forever. Let's see.
I wasn't planning. I didn't plan for this type of commitment.
Well, we've got about. We're on 237, beginning in chapter 9, and it goes to 303.
Well, we don't have to go through all of her like dietary recommendations.
Yeah, there are some charts
recipes and so maybe we should take a look at the next couple of chapters and see. I think chapter 9 is a regular chapter, and then I think following that is her plan.
Yeah, I think after that it's pretty much like a lot of quiz type stuff.
I think we'll probably like chapter 9, because like it goes into 4 weeks to good energy, and so she has like a plan.
Recipes and
like,
well, if we want to just skip that portion and plan on the next book, we can do that because a lot of this is just personalized, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what like she talks about creating the food journal and ordering wearable devices, which she's talked about quite a bit.
Yeah,
so it's kind more of a detailed plan.
It's probably going to take us 2 weeks to get through this chapter 9 if we
why don't we
get on it.
So then let's pick out the next book, which I thought we were going to do the other one, brain energy.
Yeah, we had talked about brain energy.
Didn't you say Dr. Palmer said that he would come on if we did his book?
He said he asked me when we were going to do it, and I said I didn't know. So I mean, I've got an in with him, so it's not like a definite thing. But he was very he did express an interest in coming on and talking. Yeah,
I don't know. I might want to take a break for a while.
We could do that.
I just have a lot going on. I just feel like I need a break.
Do we want to instead of doing like a book thing, we could just like come on here Sunday afternoon and just shoot the breeze. I was gonna say shoot the shit,
Well,
but
if
I
you
just
need a
said
break,
it. But anyway,
if
you
you
want
need
to
a
do that?
break,
That's fun. And take a
or
break.
we could
I
just
just
take
have
a
a lot
break.
of stuff that I'm doing, and like,
Why don't we just take a break till, and once we finish this book, why don't we take a break till after the holidays?
mm,
Yeah,
And
we can do
that'll
that.
give us,
and then we can
yeah,
kind
and
of
that'll give us a
decide.
break. And we can do our keto study club, and unless that's too much for you right now too, Kim, but
Well, I can do it.
yeah, but then we
Thursdays
can,
are better. Sundays are just like, I mean, it's not a great, like, I know I picked it because it was free, but like I had it free at the time, but it's
yeah,
like every Sunday I catch myself thinking, I've just got all this stuff I need to do. And then I just like,
yeah,
when you have something to do, it's like, I don't know if it's
yeah,
my ADHD brain or not, but like I don't get anything done like several hours before, and then
right.
several
Well,
hours after, I'm just kind of like trying to get back
maybe
on
when we
track.
maybe when we pick up, we need to pick a different day.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
All
pretty
right. Well, we'll talk
flexible.
about it. We'll talk
Okay.
about it.
All right,
And,
but yeah, we can continue our Thursday stuff, and
so we'll do chapter 9. Maybe chapter 9 can be the end. We'll finish with chapter 9 because the rest of it's all just about a recap and personalization of everything, and then we'll be done with this book.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
All right. We'll see you guys
Okay,
next
guys.
Sunday. And of course,
All
we'll
right.
see you Thursday.
Yeah. See
Yes.
y'all Thursday, and see you next Sunday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Glad y'all came.
Thanks, guys.